for new construction or major work within the Pinehurst Historic District, and to do so by conducting hearings and making findings of fact when such applications come before us. By law, the Commission is directed to take no action except to prevent construction or alterations that would be incongruous with the special character of the historic district. Eric Von Salzen, the chair of the Commission. I ask each commissioner, starting from my far left, to state his or her name for the record.
Richard Vincent.
John Taylor.
Kara Mathis.
Terry Lurch.
5 of 7 members present. Therefore, we have a quorum. Also present and very much appreciated is Maria Carpenter, our one and only staff on these 4 cases. You must have done something wrong to draw all of those. And we also have the clerk of our commission, and we also have the honor of having His Honor the Mayor present. And I believe Mayor Strickland would like to address the group. If you'd like to come forward, we appreciate hearing from you, Mr. Mayor. Make sure you turn on your mic.
That I can do. Mr. Chairman, Eric, I'm here for one reason only, and that is to personally thank you for your service to the Historic Commission and the Village of Pinehurst. As not everyone in the room may know, but your commissioners do, you'll be resigning from the commission in December because Helen and you are moving down, Helen, right? Are moving down the road a little ways, and unfortunately our requirements in the village mean that our members of the commission need to be resident in the village. But you've served us well and for a very long time. And I didn't want the opportunity of your last meeting to go without acknowledging in a personal way your service to the village and to your fellow commissioners. So I wish you well. The village council will have a little more to say about this in the next month or two with respect to your service, and we look forward to that time. But I did feel it an obligation of me to be here today to thank you, and we wish you good Godspeed, and thanks for all your good work to the commission.
John, I thank you. That was very kind, certainly unnecessary. I have enjoyed very few things in my professional life as much as I have enjoyed serving on this commission, both because of the people that I serve with, both the members and the staff, but also because I love the village, and I hope that we have been making some progress in making the village an even better place in which to live, and I'm only sorry I won't be one of the residents very much longer. Thank you kindly.
To your fellow commissioners, I would just say we'll obviously be looking for replacement to the board and a new chairperson coming along. We're also looking for replacements for our planning and zoning board. We've had a couple of terminations there as well. So any of you who are listening or here on the commission itself, if you have names of individuals that would be interested in the Historic Commission or the Planning and Zoning Board of the village, we'd appreciate having their applications at any time. But again, Eric, thank you so very much. I know we'll be in contact. I wish you all well with your deliberations this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of our last meeting. All commissioners have been provided with copies of the draft minutes. Does any commissioner have any changes to suggest? Yes, I do. Thank you. On the first page of the draft minutes, in the first paragraph under the heading, Mr. Taylor moved to recess, there's a reference to an ex parte communication that I received and which led me to recuse myself. I would suggest that in the third from the last line, the word with, part of communication via email with a resident should read from a resident to make it clear that I did not initiate the communication, which is the case. Any objection to that change? Any other changes to suggest? Hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as,
Eric,
oh, sorry.
just one question. It is noted that you recused yourself. It's noted in the minutes that you recused yourself. Is it necessary to note that I was made acting chairman?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That should be there. I'm sorry I missed that. Didn't have my name on it, so of course I wouldn't notice it. Yes.
No other suggestions?
So with those two amendments, are there any further amendments? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. They are adopted as amended. And now have a motion to enter the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. If there's any discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. We are now in the public hearing. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. That means that anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and the commission is required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. I asked the commissioners if they have visited any of the sites on our docket today and whether they have had any ex parte communications with respect to any of the cases we'll be considering today. Richard?
Richard Vincent visited all the sites, but for 155 Cherokee, no ex parte communication.
Eric Ponsals and I visited all the sites and had no ex parte communication.
John Taylor visited all, no ex parte communications.
Kara Mathis visited all, no ex parte communication, but I am familiar with the Crawfords.
Or applicants in one of the
Yeah,
cases.
applicants in 95 Woods, but I feel fine.
Jerry Lurch, I visited all the sites and no communication.
Thank you. In each case that the commission will hear this afternoon, staff, meaning Maria, will first present a summary of the application, staff's evaluation of the extent to which the application complies with the commission standards for such an application, or raises issues that require further information, the staff's comments on the application, and where appropriate, the staff's recommendations for commission action. The application and its supporting documents, as well as the staff's detailed report, will then be entered into the record. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question staff about this report and testimony. Next, the applicant or the applicant's representatives will have an opportunity to provide any additional information supporting the application and to address any questions or issues identified in staff's testimony. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question the applicant witnesses. After the applicant's presentation, if any member of the public wishes to present any evidence, either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at that time and identify yourself. I will swear you in and give you an opportunity to present any reasons why you believe that the application should be granted or denied. Please remember, the commission is interested in facts that will help us decide whether the proposed work would be congruous with the special character of the Pinehurst Historic District. As chair, I have the right to exclude testimony that isn't relevant to that subject, but I'm not required to do so. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question you about your testimony. If the applicant or staff wishes to respond to your testimony, I will permit them to do so. We will now proceed to our first case. Maria, will you please rise? Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to all the cases on our docket today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Our first case is COA 2022-00184 involving 95 Woods Road. Is the applicant or applicant's representatives present? All right, would you come forward, please? Stand behind the stand there with the microphone on it, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record. Thank you. You can come forward and sit at the desk. Swear again.
Yes. James Crawford, Crawford.
And you swear to and affirm
Yes.
testimony you will give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Now you can come forward and be seated. All right, Ms. Carpenter, will you present the case for the this, COA 2022
184.
Thank you.
All right. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for the addition of a dormer to the right side of the dwelling. The property is further identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-14565. The property owner and applicant is James Crawford. The applicant proposes to construct an additional dormer on the right side of the dwelling. The proposed addition will have materials and colors that match the existing home on the property and will consist of matching roof shingles, cedar shake siding painted to match the existing color, and new windows to match the existing. The property is listed as contributing, and it is approximately 0.245 acres in size. This is considered major work because it is new construction or an addition not considered to be minor work. Here you have the map of the property owners that were notified. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. And you can see the hashed marked property, and then the property is outlined in red were the ones that were notified. So here you have elevations that have the existing dormer on the right side of the house, and then you can see the addition of the additional dormer. And here are some pictures of the house as it exists right now. Applicable standards, roofs, any changes or additions must be compatible or shall be compatible with the architectural style of the existing structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Windows and doors, adding new windows and door openings, or altering or filling existing openings should not compromise the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Additions and new accessory buildings, such as carriage houses, garage, and other buildings, must be compatible with the character and scale of the primary structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Additions and accessory buildings such as carriage houses, garages, and other buildings must be located as inconspicuously as possible in the rear or side yards. Paint and stain colors for exterior walls, architectural elements or details, decks, and porches must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure, must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District, and must be in the Village of Pinehurst color palette. Darker colors are recommended for trim and accents only. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission will need to determine if the proposed dormer addition is compatible with the character and scale of the existing primary structure and whether it meets the historic district standards. At this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, and the application and applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have any questions for staff? I have one. It appears from the visual depiction that the new dormer is attached to the existing dormer. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be a good question for the applicant.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So it's not really an addition, it's an extension, is the right word. Okay.
Well, just to keep the record straight, we'll come back to you so you'll be able to answer those questions again when the record is clear. Any other questions for staff?
I would just point out that that is noted in Exhibit A 1.2. The word extend is actually used there, although it wasn't used in the cover to the.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay, in that case, we will now hear from the applicant. Mr. Crawford, you've been sworn in. Is there anything in the presentation by staff that you disagree with or would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to add in support of the application? This is your opportunity to do that.
The only thing that I would add is that even though I said I was going to match the existing color, I think I found the actual color, and it's, I'll have Benjamin Moore ensure that, but I think it's HC 191. It's a blue. I have the fan swatch with me if you want to look at it.
Is from our color palette?
That I'm not sure of, but I'm not going to repaint the whole house. I'm just going to match the existing color to the best of my ability.
And earlier you did indicate that the new dormer is attached to the existing dormer, so it essentially is an expansion of the existing dormer. Is that correct?
Yes, we're just simply extending the existing shed roof dormer by about 5 linear feet.
Questions for the applicant?
This is probably not germane to our consideration, but I notice you have a matching dormer on the other side of the house. I'm just curious why you're doing it on one side, not the other.
Oh, we're just doing it on the one side because right now we have 3 kids under 5, 2 dogs, and the house is only 1,400 square feet. And I'm a general contractor, and I have 3 whole house remodels going right now. So I can only work on my own house a little bit at a time.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. As I said earlier, if there's any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. I see no one coming forward. Therefore, unless any member of the commission has any further questions, either for the applicant or for Maria, that will close the evidentiary portion of this hearing. That being the case, we can either deliberate or someone can make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Karen.
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00184, and find the proposed major work at 95 Woods Road is consistent with historic district standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will poll the commissioners. Richard?
Yay.
Eric, yay.
John, yay.
Kara, yay.
Yes.
Congratulations, you have your certificate of appropriateness. Our next case is COA 2022-00196 involving 80 Ritter Road. Is the applicant present? Would you come forward, please? Standing behind that microphone, would you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Brandon Haddock, Haddock.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Come forward and be seated. Carpenter, would you like to present the case?
Yes. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for the renovations to exterior and an addition of a screened porch and deck at 80 Ritter Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-15371. The property owner is Gestion MAGB Inc., and the applicant is Pinehurst Homes Inc. The applicant proposes to add a screened-in porch and deck in the left side yard, as well as enclosing a detached carport located in the right rear yard, and adding a concrete parking pad. The proposed addition and enclosed carport will have materials that match the existing home on the property and will consist of whitewood siding and stucco with trim to be black and new black asphalt shingles. The garage door currently on the house will be removed and replaced with double doors. The shutters will be painted black and the front door painted black and white. The existing screened-in porch on the rear of the house will be enclosed with materials and windows to match those existing on the home. New vinyl windows will be installed to match existing windows as closely as possible. The primary structure was built in 1911, and the property is approximately 5.505 acres in size. This is considered major work because it is new construction or additions not considered to be minor work. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. Again, you can see the subject property hashed out on the map with the notified adjacent property owners outlined in red. Here you have a site plan, so you can see on the right side of the house in the gray and black striped area would be the new screened-in porch and the deck attached to that. In the lower left-hand corner of the property, you can see the carport that's existing that will be enclosed, and then additional renovations will be done to the outside of the existing dwelling, as well as the concrete parking pad that's added in the front. Here you have some elevations to show you what's going to be changed on the exterior of the house, as well as the addition of the screened-in porch and the deck on the side and the enclosed carport. Materials that'll be used: the shingles for the roofing, the paint colors, the decking material, the garage doors. And here are some pictures of the house as it exists right now. So you can see the front of the house and the existing left side of the house where the patio is. There is where that will be removed, and that's where the screened-in porch and deck will be. The existing rear yard, you can see the existing screened-in porch that will be enclosed, and the garage door that exists there currently, that'll be closed off. They're going to add double doors there. And then in the bottom, you can see the existing carport that will be enclosed. There are a lot of pages of applicable standards, so I'm just going to go through a few of them for you. Roofs, applicable standards do apply to the roofs. Any changes or additions to the configuration of an existing roof shall be compatible with the architectural style of the existing structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Exterior walls and trims, any changes or additions to an exterior wall, such as windows or door openings, bays, vents, balconies, or chimneys, must be compatible with the architecture of the structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Repair or replacement of an entire exterior wall or wooden feature or deteriorated detail should be limited to the minimal amount necessary and should be replaced in kind or with a substitute material matching the original in composition, dimension, size, shape, color, pattern, texture, and profile, but using the original material is preferred. Windows and doors, adding new windows and door openings, or altering or filling existing openings should not compromise the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Shutters and awnings, shutters should be wood or have the appearance of wood in composition and texture and be appropriately mounted. New chimneys or chimney repairs and alterations should be compatible with the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with chimneys in the Pinehurst Historic District. Decks and patios, the addition of a deck or patio must not obscure, damage, or destroy character-defining features of a primary or accessory structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Additions and accessory buildings, additions and new accessory buildings such as carriage houses, garages, and other buildings must be compatible with the structure and scale of the primary structure and must be congruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District. Wood, new wooden features or details or replacement of a missing feature or detail or element must be compatible with architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Paint and stain colors for exterior walls, architectural elements or details, decks and porches must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure, must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District, and must be in the Village of Pinehurst color palette. Darker colors are recommended for trim and accents only. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission will need to determine if the proposed addition and closing of the carport and renovations are compatible with the character and scale of the existing primary structure and whether they meet the historic district standards. And at this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, the application, and the applicant's material and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have questions for Ms. Carpenter? Hearing none, thank you. We will now hear from the applicant. You've been sworn in. If there's anything in the presentation by staff you disagree with or would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to add in support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
We have taken much consideration into design to be sure it's in keeping with the village and the historic feel of Pinehurst, and we will continue that throughout the project. There is one typo on the existing materials. The existing chimney is stucco, and it is indicated as brick.
Okay, thank you. One of the commissioners did notice that, and that you have clarified a small mystery. Do commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Yes.
A couple. You're not going to be using anymore the part of the circular drive that comes in from the left. Is that going to be sort of grassed over, the portion that's not under the deck?
Time is intended to be straw. We'll remove it, grade it, and straw it back.
And the door says it will be painted white and black. I couldn't find a picture or a drawing of, I wasn't exactly sure what that meant.
Where is that information?
In your exhibit 3.1, the front door will be painted white and black, and the shutters will be painted black. It's about midway through the paragraph.
There's two doors on the front of the home. There's like a storm door, and then you enter a butler area, and there's a front door. So we have,
The storm door will be all black, I'm guessing.
yes, sir, to match the existing handrail that's there, I think is also proposed to be black.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I have one. The parking pad out front, was that strategic? It just seems like there will be a car permanently parked in the front.
Yes, that's the only place to park. There, currently, to enter the front of the home, there's nowhere to park.
Okay. So the garage in the back where the carport is currently will not, that's a one-car garage, and it won't be used for cars then? Okay, just that extra.
Sure. I got it.
I had one other question too. You did fix the brick and stucco question. The chimney that's going to be constructed, that will be all stucco, if in our standards it says that chimneys should not have stucco above the foundation, if it matches an existing chimney, does that resolve that? So in the standards, I assume you chose stucco because the existing one
Correct,
is
yes.
stucco.
To match and be in keeping with what's there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if my question maybe is for us.
For discussion, I
Okay,
think.
we'll do it for-
Kara. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, hearing none. As I said earlier, if there's any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. I see none. Therefore, unless there's any member of the commission who has further questions either for the applicant or for Ms. Carpenter, we will close the evidentiary record and proceed to deliberations and/or a motion. Now, you raised a
Yeah.
question, so,
So I guess deliberation. Do I have to move to enter into deliberation?
no, we're already in
Okay, we're in.
deliberation, so if you want to raise a question among the commissioners, then this would be an appropriate time to do it.
Okay, so my question is that in our standards, when it comes to chimneys, it says, number 6 says, chimney stacks should not have stucco applied above the foundations as a means of stabilization. And then sorry, that was number 6. Number 7 is exterior chimneys should have a masonry finish and should extend from grade level for additions. And then number 10 says paint, cement coating, stucco, artificial stone, brick veneer, or other coatings should not be applied to chimneys that are not currently or were not historically covered. So if we're building a chimney, it's allowed to be stucco as long as it is matching an existing chimney?
That would be my interpretation. Others may feel differently. I don't know.
The other piece of that is, I think, the part about as a means of stabilization. We're not stabilizing here, I think this is more an exterior treatment than it is a stabilization.
That is correct, yes.
I had more of a problem with it being stucco if the other one wasn't, rather than,
I know, yeah, but you answered that question.
But any other comments or questions by commissioners? Anybody feel inclined to make a motion?
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00196, and find the proposed major work at 80 Ritter Road is consistent with Historic District standards and deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District, based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will poll the commissioners. Richard? Yes. Eric, yes?
John, yes?
Kara, yes?
Yes.
Congratulations, it's unanimous. You have your certificate of appropriateness.
Thank you.
The next case on our docket, COA 2022-00197, involving a property at a familiar address, 80 Carolina Vista. Is the applicant present? A familiar face comes forward. State your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Yes, Calvin Berkeley, B-U-R-K-L-E-Y.
Thank you. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Come forward and be seated.
There's one, these guys may testify too.
Oh, okay, well, come forward. State your name, spell your last name for the record.
Daniel Murrow, M-U-R-R-O-W.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Come forward and sit down. And I think we have a third volunteer. Would you state your name and spell your last name for the record, sir?
Randy Holmes, Holmes.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Come forward and be seated. Ms. Carpenter, would you present the case, please?
The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for an addition of windows and relocation of a door at 80 Carolina Vista. The property is further identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-25808. The property owner is Resorts of Pinehurst, Inc., and the applicant is Pinehurst Number 7 LLC. The applicant requests the certificate of appropriateness to add windows at the Ryder Cup porch and dogwood room, as well as changing the location of a door opening and changing it from a single door to a double door. The new windows and door will be aluminum-clad simulated divided light to match the windows installed in the coffee shop. The property is further identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-25808. The existing structure, the hotel, was built between 1899 and 1900. It is major work because it is eliminating or adding windows and or doors. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. And you can see the subject property hashed out in the center with the notified adjacent property owners outlined in red. Here you can see an aerial view. The box, the red box there, is around the location where they are adding the windows and changing the door. And you can see the elevations as to how it will change. Here are some photos of the existing porch and windows and the proposed. And the front with the staircase going up to the new location of the double doors. Applicable standards, general standards for changes to existing commercial structures, any changes or additions to a commercial building, including alterations in roof line, fenestration, architectural details, and materials, must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Commercial buildings and their facades, including fenestration and architectural details such as cornices, string courses, wall finishes, pilasters, and other decorative elements should be retained and preserved. Clear display glass should not be replaced with non-transparent or tinted windows. In storefronts, any changes or additions to the storefront or facades of commercial buildings must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission would need to determine if the addition of windows and the door opening location change is compatible with the architectural character of the structure and congruous with the district, and if it meets the historic district standards. At this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, the application, and the applicant's material and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have any questions for staff?
I do, although it's kind of a combination of a question for you, and I'm sure will end up being a question for the applicants. It appears that they're also removing an existing green awning, and that is being replaced with a white material, which might be an awning or might be a little bit more substantive construction. If they're replacing an awning with more substance, does that need to be noted in what we're going to, in the application that we're going to approve?
I believe an awning could be staff approved. So I guess, are you moving the awning?
It may show that way in the rendering. That awning may have just been rendered, because it wasn't a color render.
Not a
I
color
think it was
rendered.
just
Okay,
grayscale.
but it's fine. That would be the other thing, is maybe it was just the rendering, unintentional. Okay, thank you.
Right?
The intention is that the awning will match. The intention is that the awning will match.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicants? Or for anybody, rather, we haven't gotten to the applicants yet, but we have.
They've jumped in.
They jumped in yet. Any further questions for staff? Hearing none, we will turn to the applicants. What would you like to say in support of your application? You can choose up, rock, paper, scissors, however you'd like to do it.
Our hope and intention is to do all of this work to essentially remove windows that were installed in the 80s edition that were incompatible with the windows that are in the original hotel, and replace them with windows that are more compatible with the character of the original hotel, and to maintain all the existing trim, millwork, German siding that is compatible with the original hotel.
Further, any of you would like to add to that? All right. Questions for the applicants?
Not that it's ever about what we like, but I'm glad you're keeping the green awning, and it would also be symmetrical with what you've got to the left of the opening anyway, so happy to hear that.
All right, no further questions, comments? Therefore, if there's, as I said earlier, if there's any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. The crowd is gathering, and therefore, unless any member of the commission has any further questions for either the applicant or staff, that will close the evidentiary record, and we will proceed to deliberations and/or a motion. Richard?
There's no deliberation. I'm happy to make a motion.
You would be free to do so.
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00197, and find that the proposed major work at 80 Carolina Vista is consistent with historic district standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will poll the commissioners. Richard?
Aye.
Eric, aye.
John, aye.
Kara, yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, you have your certificate of appropriateness.
Thank you.
And finally, we come to the fourth case on our docket. COA 2022-00189 involving 155 Road. Is the applicant present? You look familiar.
I know, surprise.
Please state your name for the record.
Calvin Berkeley.
All right, you have already been sworn in, and that oath continues. Maria, would you present the case?
The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for the replacement of roofing at 155 Cherokee Road. The property is further identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-14105. The property owner is Resorts of Pinehurst, Inc., and the applicant is Centimark Corp. The applicant requests a certificate of appropriateness to replace a portion of the roof at the Holly Inn. The roof the applicant is proposing to replace is currently a modified roof of asphalt with rubber, and they're replacing it with a thermoplastic polyolefin TPO roof, a single-ply roofing membrane. The structure was built in 1895. This is major work because it is the replacement of roofing with a different material or style from that being replaced. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. And you can see the subject property hashed out with the adjacent property owners that were notified outlined in red. Here is an aerial view of the proposed roof replacement area. And here are some pictures of the existing roofing with examples of the proposed roofing. Applicable standards, changes to existing commercial structures, any changes or additions to a commercial building, including alterations in roof line, fenestration, architectural details, and materials must be compatible with the architectural character of the structure and must be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Paint colors must be in the Village of Pinehurst color palette. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission would need to determine if the proposed roofing material change is compatible with the architectural character of the structure and congruous with the district. And at this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, and the application and applicant's material and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do commissioners have questions for staff? Hearing none, I would therefore proceed to the applicant's presentation. What would you like to add in support of your application?
So the area in question is a roof that has started to experience some failures, and we need to re-roof that section. And the TPO material is one that we have found, and it's one that we've been putting on the Carolina, and it's been quite effective and long-lasting. So that's what we're choosing that material.
Would this change in material affect the appearance of the Holly Inn?
It shouldn't, no. It just, right now, it's white, it has a lot of faded black, and it would just be straight white.
Only from above.
It seems like this is a fairly flat portion of the roof that would virtually be invisible from ground level, from the street level.
Correct.
Any further questions for the applicant? All right, hearing none. As I said earlier, if there's any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence, either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. See no one coming forward. Therefore, unless any member of the commission has further questions for either staff or the applicant, the evidentiary record will be closed. And we may either proceed to deliberations or a motion as you all may wish.
Be prepared to, I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2022-00189, and find the proposed major work at 155 Cherokee Road is consistent with historic district standards and deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
For a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll poll the commissioners. Richard?
Aye.
Eric, aye.
John, aye.
Kara, yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, you have your certificate of appropriateness. And unless somebody sneaked something in here, that concludes the public hearing. May I have a motion to close the public hearing and return to the regular commission meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion passes. We are now in the regular meeting. This is a public meeting, and you are welcome, all of you, to stay and observe. But only members of the commission and its staff may speak. We have been provided with a list of the minor work approved by staff, which we review, but generally do not act on. Is there any other business to come before the commission?
I have one thing. Just while I was looking up the chimney things, it looks like the table of contents is off one page. I don't know if that matters. So chimneys, it says chimneys is on page 23. It's actually on 24, and then so on. That's all.
I think it's
I don't
worth,
disagree.
worth taking note of that. That I know often happens in the automatic pagination process. And although I think most of the users of the standards are savvy enough to be able to find the right thing, it should be done right the next time it's reprinted.
I think it's because the table of contents goes on 2 pages, so it pushes it one, but.
Sound like a maintenance item for staff, though.
Yes, I don't think,
We'll get right on that.
you're not going to have
I
to do
mean, I take it
anything about
back.
it. Anything else to come before us? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait,
Oh, no, I think we have 2 other elements
We're,
on the agenda.
oh,
Calendar
but-
for next year. and-
Oh, yeah, oh, that's right, we have to approve the calendar for next year. Is there a motion to approve the calendar for next year as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's adopted. And the next meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission will be on December 15th, 2022. Any comment on that?
Is that your last meeting? This is your last meeting, okay.
there is one other item on there, the board organizational items. So you should all have the ethics policy and another sheet, I believe. We're going to need that before you leave tonight.
I'm surprised that we're not obligated to, or not required to sign this, just print our name, but so be it.
You're welcome to sign it, John.
My signature is a scribble, so printed is probably better.
All right, everybody's going to sign that they're going to behave in an ethical fashion?
You don't have to sign that, right?
I don't, probably don't. I can be as unethical as I want to after December 1st. Any further business to come before the commission? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, motion has been made and seconded. There's no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.